Sirius XM. This is the Opie and Anthony Show.
Yeah. It's Pink Floyd Day, Anthony.
Is it?
Yes. E-Rock's being defiant. He refuses to play the Floyd.
Blatant insubordination.
We learned earlier that he hates Pink Floyd. Why are we playing this? Because it sounds like the Fox song we're playing off and on today.
It does.
That would be it.
Because everybody. Yeah.
We're hoping no one does the E-Rock parody of the Fox song.
Yes, because repeating it over and over is not going to make it happen.
Oh, he's on to us. Fuck.
He's,
Fourth wall.
Took 9 years, but I think he's finally on to us. What does the E-Rock say? What does E-Rock say? Yeah, you got to get rid of the Patton Oswalt outside the studio.
what's he up to?
Well, we're going to find out what Patton Oswalt is all about. We were having a nice conversation.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he was talking about an old clip from our show that I think his brother gave him, and he loved it.
Patton, how you doing, man? Hello, what's slapping in?
You want to tell Ann what we were talking about? Because it's definitely worth mentioning on the air.
It's the clip of you, and someone combined it on YouTube. It's the clip of you guys dissecting Barry Williams' Branson show, and then goes into Yakov's Dinner Adventure. I think I've watched that. I'm not exact, but probably like 10 times at this point. God. Especially because that's my nightmare for where my career would end up. Of like, okay, you got to think about this crowd and what they, because what really is scary about that clip is what they're selling is for one night you get to have the world the way you want it, which is nice.
Yes.
And quiet and slow.
Yes.
And it's nice. Remember when the woman's like, you kept the food hot. And she goes, I don't know how you did it. And you realize what these people can afford is a lot of places where the food probably isn't hot, or they don't cook it really well, and there's nothing they can say about it. They have no power anymore.
Powerless.
So it's like, for one night, it's a world where the food is hot, there's no blacks. All this night, you get to have the world like it was in 1941 when you were still healthy and you weren't looking at death. Like, that's all that is.
We might have to podcast that, Sam.
That is
Write it down.
A great assessment of that.
And then the magnetic trays we were talking about, and there was a reason for the magnetic trays.
Here's the reason for the magnetic trays. They realized if we get rid of the tables, we can pack 200 more people into this room and seat them and feed them like pigs. Like, literally. And I think one of you guys were saying, and when the show's over, they just take a fire hose to the floor and tables and just wash it into a sluice gate, probably at the bottom of the auditorium, and then just get the next round of pigs. Because they do like 5 shows a day. Like, get them in.
Yes.
Move
Oh,
them
my
through.
God.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then also the care that my personal chef takes. And as he's saying it, there's footage of just mass trays coming out with plastic covers to keep it hot. Like the visual totally negates everything that he's bragging about. My personal chef. He totally slaves over this.
Yes, slaving over the frozen chicken cordon bleu that he gets by the fucking, like, the shipping containers are out back full of chicken cordon bleu.
You don't think the chef was making it all fresh?
I don't think
it's
so.
Weird. Yeah, and well, it's weird that he says that it's making it fresh, and yet they show a platoon of frightened Venezuelans who are working in his kitchen that are terrified of being hit. Like, it is the most horrifying. Oh God, that's so many.
It's one of our greatest discoveries ever.
I'm fascinated
when we learned about this. Yeah,
with Branson, that whole thing that, like, we were watching that guy. What's his name? Kirby the magician.
Oh yeah,
and it was like this horrible trying to look like Vegas thing, but the tricks just weren't good, and it wasn't the glitz. It was Branson. You know?
Also, you watch it and realize, oh wait, this is 9:30 in the morning. This isn't Rat Pack stuff. This is
right.
And then we're gonna have my nap afterward, and then 3 o'clock dinner, and then we'll go to sleep. And that's That's
Branson.
waiting for so many of us.
I told Pat
Yes.
if he enjoyed that, he has to do the Joe Piscopo one we did, where you came in that day and said, you got to see this Showtime Joe Piscopo special.
Woke up in the middle of the night, opened my eye, and Joe Piscopo was on. It was a new special that he had. It was Club Piscopo, it was called. And it's like him going, doodle-you-doo, just doing like Frank Sinatra stuff, telling stories in between the songs.
This was recent.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
His most recent Showtime special.
Yes.
Maybe a year ago at this point.
Oh, this is just.
I was stupefied.
I was when I was in Staten Island. I was telling Opie that he has he had it when I was there. He had like a residency at some hotel that he was doing like out on Staten Island, which I thought that's kind of cool. Like he's out like while you're in Manhattan doing stuff out on Staten Island.
Yeah.
Joe Piscopo is going up right now and doing a show, but a whole show. Oh, is that like on? Can I just got XM Radio Satellite 103. I got that station which has you guys on it now. And I just listen all
nice.
day when I'm
Yeah.
riding around LA. It justifies all my anger.
E-Rock's actually going to burn a CD of the Joe Piscopo
I
thing
would.
for you.
Oh man.
I think you would enjoy that if you like the Yakov / Barry
Well, the
Williams
Yakov
stuff.
thing is great because they match the visuals to everything you guys
Yes,
are talking
I
about.
love
which
that they're
really
doing that.
adds to the horror of what you're seeing. Like
Nightmare.
as bad as your descriptions are, all the visuals back up every single
right
thing you're
there.
saying. Yeah.
I'm
hoping
There's
someone
no denying it.
I'm hoping someone does that with the Happy Days thing we did yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Because that'll do really well. And discovered a Happy Days episode where they handle the
racial issue.
The racial issue.
Yeah. It was
Tom
one of the
Bosley has a
original
black
ones.
friend.
It was one of the original ones. Not in front of the live studio audience. It was done on film. It was one of the original ones. And yeah, he was going to be the best man at a black guy's wedding. And they had the black guy at his house, and they had the stereotypical neighbor come over and go, oh. She's all like scared because he's a black guy.
We watched the
crazy.
whole episode yesterday.
Oh wow!
On this show.
Well, there's
whole
also
thing.
that clip where you guys. I can't believe I'm like it's like I'm a nerd that win a morning with Opie and Anthony. And then remember that one episode that you did when you. But there's this episode where you guys dissected, and this is also on YouTube. The Dudley episode of Different Strokes, in which the line you uttered the line Dudley's a goer. I was like, But then there was a website, I think it's College Humor, or it might be on the website, but they pointed out all those very special episodes where a kid is molested, or someone is raped, or someone has cancer.
Or overdoses.
Yeah, or overdoses. Those were live tapings for an audience, most of which had traveled from the Midwest. Like, we're going to go to L.A., we're going to go see a show, and they've bought a ticket, and they've sat there for 4 hours to watch a kid get raped. Like, their big Hollywood trip ends with watching a show about a kid being molested.
They just wanted to laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought you were saying they were the lucky audience.
And it was the best birthday I ever had.
Yeah, they just wanted to escape.
One of those shows, like,
Go to
I'm going to see the
LA.
show. It's a comedy. We all laugh.
Go to Hollywood
watch it every week.
Boulevard
Yeah, we
and-
watch it. And they got to sit
see
there
a
and be the
show.
audience that goes, that low, like,
The other one time they hear Arnold say, "What you talking about?" It's to a man about to rape his friend in a fucking empty tub. Right. What you talking about? It's not the
The
same fun
catchphrase
tone.
isn't as fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really what you talking about.
yeah. We
This is
do
our
like
anniversary.
we do like picking things apart on the show.
That's fun.
We're a
The
bunch
Happy
of
Days
assholes.
one is the latest one. That was
That was yesterday.
It
Yeah,
was fun.
Fun to
man.
watch them juggle the racial issue. And
Oh, and
It was fun.
so
Gary Marshall
ham-handed.
style.
Yes, it was done so ham-handedly.
You got a clip there,
Just
Sam?
awful.
Or no?
I'm just looking up to see what's out. There's a 4.5 hour YouTube video, which is the all parts, the saga of you guys and Joe Piscopo.
Wow.
So if you have 4.5
Are there
hours,
visuals and stuff?
Because I
I
think
think there are some throughout.
I think the
God.
next,
Okay.
the next day we had him on the show.
Yeah, it was a trilogy.
You were saying,
It was a
man,
trilogy.
that's-
Yeah.
yeah.
It's 5 parts, E-Rock is saying. And then, then he started coming in. and he's getting girls pregnant all over the place. And we're like, will you stop?
He's an animal, Piscopo.
He's an animal. We love him.
Yeah.
In the end, we love the guy.
Oh, he loves throwing that seed around, that Piscopo seed. Man, he just knocks these young girls up.
He's got to fertilize the earth.
Yes, with
when the earth loses its Piscopo, the dead will walk the earth. That's why Piscopo's
We
here.
can get him on the phone right now if you want to say hi, Patton.
Jesus.
I wouldn't know what to say.
Want a quick phone call with Joe?
We put the whole thing on a podcast too, so it's out there.
Okay, good.
The whole.
I'm telling you, the Joe Piscopo stuff is terrific.
I love he just refuses to pull out. Like, I really respect him.
Oh, yeah.
He's had nothing but bad luck, and he just won't stop fucking aiming for the womb.
He is a fertile guy.
Holy shit, this guy's batting fucking 870. What Hall of Fame numbers he has.
Yes. I almost want to just play the Joe Piscopo now.
Oh, it's great.
Oh, it was so much fun.
And then I saw you're all over Channel 11 here in New York. You're all over that, King of Queens, and then I turn on. Then you're at the video store at Seinfeld.
Oh yeah, that role.
That's
my
great, man.
that was when you that was my first TV role, and that's the classic first timer on TV. I'm there just to set up. Jason Alexander doing something funny, and I'm trying to get a laugh from my all I'm saying is, I'm sorry, sir, it doesn't work that way, and I'm putting so much spin on each of my words. Like,
I'm
is there
gonna make
any way
something
I
of
can
myself.
find nothing? Out. Someone has it.
Out. Oh, no. I've been to 4 other places. You're the only ones that have had it.
Well, I can put it on reserve for you if you'd like.
Maybe we could call them and ask them to return.
Oh, sorry, we can't do that.
Boom! See,
I could go pick it up.
Attitude.
I don't think so. It doesn't work that way?
Doesn't work that way. Oh, damn it! And there's my back. Oh, I just
Wait a minute. That was one of your first times on TV, though?
That was my very first paid acting gig on TV.
Wow, that's pretty
absolute
cool.
first one.
Yes.
That was the first one, 1994.
Good for you.
Wow,
And then I got a
Hell of a start.
Well, after it aired, I got this call from a not even a friend of mine from high school, like this acquaintance that was like, hey, I checked you out on TV. I go, oh, hey, thanks, man. He goes, yeah, I'm thinking maybe I'm getting into acting now, Like, I was thinking about this. And I go, oh, and there's a guy that never was, and I go, oh, okay. He goes, yeah, so I'm going to maybe come, if I came out, like I could crash in your spare room or something. I said, well, I'm living in a studio apartment. My bed is in my kitchen, and he's like, "Oh, come on, man! I just saw you on TV, and now you're trying to." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes,
Wow.
You have a house. I saw you on TV. You have a house."
Just because
and I was like, I
how
made
it works.
less on that gig than I have on any. Like, that basically got me an after card. I didn't even get money off of that. So
people actually will think that. I was guilty of the same thing with our own Greg Opie Hughes here. Back when I was just doing Opie's show from 7 to midnight.
That was a big deal as a single
Out on Long
broadcaster,
Island.
sir.
oh, I didn't.
Out
wow.
on Long Island,
I was kicking ass on
I'll
Long
check your
Island.
Wikipedia page.
Yeah,
go read it.
WBAB is out on Long Island.
Doing
and I was,
very well for
and-
myself.
And I would come in like maybe once a week and do something, and then I was like, oh, why don't you come over to my house? We'll hang out. I'm like, holy fuck, this is fucking cool. And he tells me where to go, and I'm driving. I'm like, wait, this isn't. This should be like a gated community
Right.
mansion. And then I pull up to this house, and he's like, hey, what's up? And I look around, and it's just
A shitty house, and I don't even have the whole house.
no, you didn't even have the whole house.
I'm renting the top half.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I started thinking, because it was in Northport, and I'm just kind of like, oh, this must just be his summer home. Like, Opie's summering in Northport.
Summering.
You know how people go to Northport just to chill out? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was an old house, a lot of rusted shit in the yard and the backyard.
Yeah. I was
porch.
just like, oh, man, I thought...
Had to deal with a horrible landlord.
He's got his own radio show. He's got to be wealthy.
What'd you guys do in the house together that day?
Yeah, that's
We actually watched The Crow.
Did we really?
Yeah, it was The Crow.
There's something so creepy about it. You guys in the house watching The Crow. That's so random.
Little did we know the future would be this.
Yeah.
And it was, I remember though, because it was like there was no lights on either. It was really dark.
Of course it was. You're off the air at midnight. So what you go for 2 in the fucking
No, I
brew
mean,
and
even
crow
in the
viewing?
house, like
Oh.
like in that little living room area.
I didn't have money to pay the electric bill.
That's so funny. Two guys watching The Crow
Watching
at 2
the
in the
Crow
morning.
together, and
They're like, I have plans to conquer New York.
talking about
What's going to happen?
Yes.
But it continued in Boston. We were kicking ass together now, and we weren't making any money.
No,
we
I
finally
bet.
made money when we came back to New York.
Well, I realized very
wow.
quickly that was a fallacy. That if you're
were-
on the radio, you're wealthy.
we were huge in Boston, and we were still struggling. More or less.
Yeah,
I mean.
Opie was living with my mother-in-law.
Yeah,
at
I
the time.
lived with her
Literally
for 6
lived
months. Going fuck,
with
that's
my
6 months of
mother-in-law.
rent I don't have to deal with.
Right. You can get some savings or something.
Yes.
We moved in. We all were living there. Me, my wife at the time, and Opie, and the mother-in-law living in her little fucking townhouse. And but my wife and her mother got along so poorly that it was like day one. She's like, "I'm getting the fuck out of here. I gotta get away from this bitch."
And I go to Ed. I'm like, "Well, you guys are
man.
leaving, but this is great. I like
it's
this."
fucking. She cooks dinner. She fucking.
She actually did my laundry. I think she made the bed every day when I went to do the radio show with Ann. I'm like,
Well, think
and
what
my
I
chick
was-
at the time didn't want to move to Boston, so I'm like, what the fuck? I'll just stay where I am.
That's what I was thinking at the time too. It was kind of like, oh, I could fucking, save up some money. I don't know how we got into this.
I don't know.
This is depressing. All the millennials out there. Yeah, can we get off on a different subject right now? Because I'm living with my parents. I have a law degree, for God's sakes.
Yes.
Oh, get the Piscopo Saga. Piscopo Saga.
Saga.
Sorry, I'm looking at the.
I don't even know
That's
if you
great.
need the visual on that one. I think you could just pop that
We play a little
while
audio,
you're driving
I think.
around. Yeah.
I lived at home until I was 30. And you know how I remember I met a girl in Vegas when I was opening for Dice at the fucking Venetian, and she thought I was fucking hot shit. And I was joking with her. I was being sarcastic. I'm like, yeah, I got a Jag and a Benz. And she's like, really?
She believed it.
And then she fucking, I flew her to Jersey when I lived with Florentine. Oh,
no.
And I'll never forget when she saw what a fucking hunk of garbage my apartment was because I had the roof leaking.
Remember?
She's like, do you have any vodka? And I gave her fucking vodka and I just taught her chess in my living room. It was fucking.
That was your whole
That was my
fucking-
time. Was
Wow.
I feel so bad about that.
Black mold on the walls.
We did a Cribs with Jim Norton. We actually went through his place.
When I was 33 years
It
old.
was unbelievable how much mold he had in that
It
joint.
was terrible.
I love how she immediately goes, "Do you have any vodka? Like, can I just numb this?"
Yeah,
Can I-
that's what it was.
That's
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
Well, like I'm about to get surgery in the Old West. Just give me some bourbon and let's get this over
Yeah,
with.
where's the Benz?
You gotta tell him real fast before we move on to other shit. You would bring girls back to your parents' house.
While I was in my late 20s, yeah, I'd get blown in the fuck. I remember me and my friend Larry got a fucking pregnant prostitute in my fucking grandmother's, where she's dead, but in her basement. And this girl sparked up a crack pipe. She sparked up a fucking crack. I'll never forget that. 9 months
In
pregnant.
grandma's house.
Yeah, I mean, my parents' house.
Oh, in your
basically.
parents' house.
Jim, you casually rushed by about 8 horrific things just to get to the point of your story. I got this pregnant prostitute. It's my grandma. She's dead. So anyway, wait a minute. We're just rushing by all that
Yeah.
shit. Where are we heading? Like, what's the kicker of this? Of all that? It's like, don't worry about that.
It's just the illusion of wealth people have. They think that you're doing better in show business. They have no idea.
Yeah,
It's
that is true.
I lived in this house. Just show them the photo being pulled up. That's what, I lived in this house until I was doing comedy for 13 years. 10 years to 13 years is when I lived here. Just the photo. Don't even show them the whole house. It's too long. But
just show them.
Oh,
Black
Lord.
mold.
There's all the mold on the ceiling.
God.
Yeah, this is online if you
Yeah,
guys want to
yeah.
check it out.
Oh, behind that picture. That is disgusting.
look at it. The mold is leaking.
Watch when they lift that
Whoa.
picture up. This is so
Yeah,
fucking
they were hiding
terrible.
the mold with that picture, obviously.
No, I don't want to.
Yes.
Yeah, this is where I lived, man.
There's mold.
Here we go. Okay, they are lifting a picture of. Oh, God.
Yep.
Oh, no.
That's like Amityville horror shit.
That's
right there.
a
Isn't that,
shitload
isn't
of
that,
mold.
and it's under, of course, a nice framed Chagall.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my framed Chagall. Isn't that like isn't that weird brain eating mold? That
Yeah,
That's not
that's
good
just
for you.
dangerous.
you have to flee the house
That's
once
the
you
black
have
mold,
it.
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
This doesn't seem that long ago.
Yeah, it's fucking.
It's got to be 13 years ago, right?
What are we in 2013?
Oh, God. Yeah.
It's 13 years ago.
Yeah, I'd been at it probably almost nearly 20 years before I could afford a house. There's not that much.
Wow.
People see you because you have so much exposure. People don't realize that fame and fortune are usually completely opposite.
Yeah.
You know, you can be very famous and have zero fortune.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is a fucking long process to make any kind of fucking real money, man. And people are so disappointed when they realize
Oh man,
that
yeah.
you're broke.
If you're on TV, you have a shitload of money. That's the The illusion.
And then when you start making money, one of the first things you have to do is start paying off all the debt you accrue to even get. Like I had so much debt that there was nothing I could do about it. Like I have to keep living in this debt because this is the life I'm living. And then thank God I was able to finally pay it off.
That's exactly.
But it was bad.
Yes, that happened to me too with credit cards and shit.
Yeah.
I was like, I just resigned to the fact that I am going to be paying the minimum balance for the rest of my life.
Oh, yeah. How many times? I remember one time, oh, God, okay, I was in San Francisco. My phone got cut off because I hadn't paid the bill. So I got to walk down. I was rolling nickels and quarters. I had this huge bucket of change, and I sat there for a few hours and rolled enough to literally, I had like $200 in nickels. I had them in a big bag, a trash bag, and I walked down to the office, the phone company office, where you literally can pay it in person and get it turned on right there. So I'm lugging this trash bag down Clement Street so I can go pay my bill. And there's this kid, I was like 20 at the time, he was like 17, a able-bodied, totally healthy young kid begging on Clement Street. Just like, hey, you get any change? Like, just, again, this is like early 90s. And I was like, I am really sorry. I don't have any money. And I actually stopped. There's no reason to talk to this idiot. And I'm like, I got to go pay this phone. I have just enough to pay it. I got to get my phone turned back on. And because I'm trying to be a member of society, you able-bodied young man. So then I go to the office, I pay it, but I had like 87 cents left. Like, oh, I actually had more than I thought. Nice. I was so happy that when I was going back, I passed him and I went, "Hey, man, look, I got some change." And I gave him my change because I was in such a good mood.
Oh, man.
And then he stopped and he went, "You said you were broke, you fucking asshole."
Jesus. Holy shit.
So, okay, that's got it.
Yeah.
You don't realize people can rip you off on credit cards too. That's a problem. When do you get into credit card debt? I had $3,000 on each one, and then all of a sudden I had like a $10,000 hit.
Whoa.
I used to go to these prostitutes and pay with a credit card. I really would. It would never occur to me that they would rip you off.
Oh, really? The prostitutes wouldn't rip you off.
Yeah. So I had to call and fucking get $10,000 worth of fucking bullshit charges taken on my credit cards.
Well, that's weird because you haven't seen the Jim Norton Memorial thank you from all the prostitutes for all the rice cookers and laundry machines you bought them. There's a whole that joke went fucking oh my god, could not have been sweatier or clankier. Jim, did you see one time? Fuck,
clankier.
I literally limped my way towards a non-punchline, right?
I threw out a dumb story that there really wasn't nowhere to go with. I gave you the beginning, middle, and end. There's nowhere to go with it.
Why? That's an amazing story without the details.
I didn't even mention that they were trannies. I mean, believe me. Thank God I didn't throw that in.
But Jim's face was literally, I was like a special kid spending a day with him. Like, let's let him tell his story. And then when oh God.
Jimmy, when a pregnant hooker shows up, Are you pissed?
She didn't show up. We picked her up.
Oh, crap.
She was a streetwalker. 8.5 months, 9 months. I mean,
oh, my God.
Yeah, no bullshit. No.
There was
and you had no problem
walking around.
No problem with it.
I don't remember why we did that. I remember she blew both of us. She blew me and Larry, and then she sparked up a crack pipe right by my grandmother's old bookcase, and she had a copy of Johnny We Hardly Knew Ye in the bookcase about JFK.
Maybe they were just Jimmy and his friend were reading The Good Earth. They're like, oh, the scene where she gives birth in the rice field. Let's just try to recreate that.
Was there any guilt?
Yeah, a little bit.
That she was 8.5, 9 months pregnant?
Yeah, no, it was the drugs. I felt bad about. Like, man, you ever smell coke when it's being cooked? It's a fucking It's a very distinct odor. I was worried my parents would fucking smell it.
Oh man, were they upstairs at the time?
Yeah.
You bring a fucking pregnant hooker into the downstairs part of the house when your parents. I remember being nervous, like just having a girl over on the couch doing normal fucking shit, making out and dry humping.
You were worried they were going to come check it out, right?
What was that? Is that not a pregnant hooker smoking crack next to Johnny We Hardly Knew Ye?
I can't wait till Jim gets his Louis style show and his pitching stories. So in this episode, there's a pregnant, like 3 months. Oh no, 9. She's got to be 9, ready to pop. Should we smoke and crack?
Trust me, Jim already has that show written and is just trying to get rid of it.
Can we get the clearance to use the book Johnny We Hardly Knew? I need that in the shot. I need that to frame the left side of her face.
Yes,
as she's doing it.
The camera has to pan to that before commercial.
So, Pat, what are you promoting? We haven't even mentioned Patton's promoting.
Oh, right, yeah.
Whatever happened to Moby Dick? Is that a book you've written? Or,
Yeah.
Honestly.
No, I'm there's two things I'm doing. The next Tuesday is the season 2 premiere of The Heart She Holler, which is an Adult Swim show that the guys they did Wonder Shows. I don't know if you ever watched Wonder Shows. Wonder Shows is amazing. It's like if Sesame Street were on bath salts and they go and just drive people in New York insane and they have these things like kids on the street, kids on the beat kids, and it's like kids doing the news. So there's a kid, they dress a kid as Hitler, and then he's talking to me like, what do you think is wrong with the youth of today? Like these old people are like, why are you dressed as Hitler? Like they're so upset. And then they also send this kid to the racetrack to talk to just these old people to racetrack. This one little kid's like, I can do an impression of you. And this sweet old man's like, really? Yeah. Gamble, 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 die. So those guys did this show called The Heart She Holler, which is like, think of the most annoying Brooklyn hipster and what they think the South is, they think a red state is, and then give that person bath salts, and that's what the show is. It's just this insane inbred, and we did 6 episodes 2 years ago, and Adult Swim liked it so much they went, why don't you do 14 more? We're going to run them every single night of the month like a soap opera. So it's just weird. Wow. They're each like 11 minutes long, and it's the most
nice.
They do short shows on Adult Swim.
They do very short. Yeah, it has that nice, like, cool. If it's only 11 minutes, just do 11 minutes. Make it great. And it is the most disgusting shit I've ever done on camera.
Oh wow,
the weirdest shit I've ever done. If you want to watch like people crawling into women's vaginas and a woman. There's a scene they showed last night. They did a thing at the Nighthawk in Brooklyn where a guy. Oh God, this is so gross. I'll just put it this way. A woman does him from behind because something is sticking out of his rear that she is riding. And I'll just leave it at that. It's horrifying.
I would gather.
Is she sharing a dildo with his asshole and her vagina?
You know what? See, that would be nice. No, it's something even.
Oh, nice! A very solid log.
Thank you.
Wow,
I didn't want to be the one to say it. So, but it's brilliant. It's a brilliant show. And then now that I've said all that, next Saturday, the 21st in LA, I'm doing the Los Angeles Public Library is doing this celebration of Moby Dick.
Wow, look at that.
I'm doing
You're all
3 readings. I'm just going to go to 3 different libraries and read sections from Moby Dick, which they've sent me these sections. I mean, I've never read all of Moby Dick. I'll admit it. Sorry. That is a seriously fucked up book.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that goes on in that book. It's just pages and pages of just psychosis. So I'm going to be reading some of the weirdest parts because doing this whole thing.
Put on a dramatic reading voice.
I think I'm going to try to, and then I'm going to get confused and angry because these passages are really, really weird. I didn't know that Herman Melville was so
twisted.
Damaged. Yeah, like just a twisted. Damaged guy.
Yeah.
How long is each passage?
Each like a page and a half, like really quick, and then I'll talk to the audience about like what the hell just happened, like, and there'll be people there that there's already people like because I was announcing it on Twitter, and then they're like, hey, make sure to read this passage and like I've been looking some of them up, and they're really hard.
There's some twisted shit in there, like his fucking captain and the cabin boy and shit. And,
there's a lot of like. There's all these references, or at least they allude to the idea that he hates this whale so much that he's gone to all these islands of different savages, and he's storing these like Zoroastrians and these crazy religious fanatics, but he keeps them stored like under the decks, and they just sit there smoking weed all day and going crazy, and the minute the whale services, he's going to like let these maniacs loose to go kill this thing. So on the deck of the ship is Queequeg and Ishmael, all these guys, but then underneath of it, it's like the gathering of the Juggalos, and he's just giving them all PCP, and they're going to go kill this thing.
Throw them out like a cluster bomb of savages.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So.
I had no idea. I've never read the book.
No, I haven't either. I know nothing
I think
about
I might have to
Moby
read
Dick.
that one.
That's cool.
I just hear the name and giggle.
Yeah.
Can't help it.
Well, also what I didn't know about the book was Herman Melville was this hugely successful, like, killer diller author of money, fame, and then he spent all these years writing his great American music, and it ruined him, and he died penniless and kind of crazy. Yeah, this thing just ate him alive, and he wouldn't. And they put it out. Everyone hated it. Like all their reviews were like, "This is the worst, most unreadable piece of shit." This guy's flushed his career down the toilet.
When did it become a classic?
I think like 50 years after he was dead. Wow. Yeah, it was really weird. He just kind of blew it. So
damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was a guy like imagine think of like Bruce Springsteen, and then all of a sudden he stops doing music for 10 years and then comes out with this weird atonal, like he's just banging on like a weird, like a Dixie cup with a mummified penis for 4 hours, and everyone's like, that's it. He goes, this is all I'm doing from now on. They're like, God, he's going, and then he just ends up like dying in a men's hotel somewhere.
But then 50 years later, people dig that.
Like, this is the greatest album ever.
Do you know the history of how it turned it around and how it became
that?
a classic?
I still got to read that part, because it's an amazing, it is a fascinating story about a guy burning his life to the ground, and then that becomes a thing. Then his big bestseller books no one gives a shit about. That were bestsellers during his lifetime. No one reads anymore. When
did he? What was his life and death years roughly?
I don't know.
Did he die in the 1900s or the 1800s?
I think he died in the late 1800s, but don't quote me. Yeah, there you go. Get on Wikipedia.
We're gonna have to do that.
Yeah. He's also his other one of his big bestsellers was called Umo. OOMO, and if you do crossword puzzles, you see that a lot.
Yeah.
It just says Melville novel. Oh, this person needs vowels in his puzzle, so here comes Umo. Get no Umo, because that's going to be the one in there.
Well, you got 1819 to 1891.
He lived the fucking, what was he, 73?
Almost made it.
72 years old, right?
Lived a long life, died miserable.
You doing animation still?
Yeah, I do. Well, now I because my daughter is 4 and we watch all these animated shows, and then sometimes I'll tweet about them I can't get the Doc McStuffins tune out of my head.
Of course.
And then they'll call me and go, "Hey, you want to do a voice?" I'm like, "Yeah." All of your favorite like 90s musicians are all doing kid shows now. Mickey Mouse Clubhouses, They Might Be Giants. They do all the music. Doc McStuffins is that girl from Letters to Cleo.
Oh shit!
And she's like this big songwriter and does so. It's like all of your alt 90 darlings.
That's where they went.
They all went there.
They knew where. Like, there's cash in that, right?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like they don't have to tour. They're happy.
It's got to be easy to write.
My son's go-to movie in the car is Ratatouille. So when I saw Patton, I'm like, can I just choke you, please?
I'm so sorry.
Because when these kids latch onto a movie, they will not let go for a long time.
I will say though that's
I love the
very
movie,
smart
by the way.
kid that can watch Ratatouille at age 3.
He loves it.
And
although he makes us fast forward through the scary parts, the whole rainstorm in the beginning and stuff.
Well, because the shotgun, that's really dark.
Yeah, he knows when he's
scary
like
part.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to turn it off. He goes, just fast forward for me.
Yeah, I want to see the rest of it.
It's crazy.
Just be happy that, because one of the things my daughter is into is that Dora the Explorer.
That's okay.
Dora the Explorer? You like Dora the Explorer? How much do you like it? 1, 2, 3.
He knows.
Oh no! Oh God! It's
for us. It's Caillou.
Caillou's
the whiny little
bald.
He's a whiny little fuck, and then I hear my son imitating Caillou. I'm like, no, you're not going to imitate Caillou.
Yeah, it's and also now a lot of these,
I hate. That's the only one I can't stand out of all the kids programs.
Yeah, and Caillou. She loves and that little theme, that weird. I'm Caillou.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Do you do animation voices, Jim? Because you have an amazing voice for animation. You should be doing voiceovers.
Thank you. I wish there was somebody else in my career that felt that way. A person of power or influence that was managing me.
When you guys were playing the early Jim Norton thing with that voice, it sounded like you were doing a voice.
Yeah. How we doing? I should have been had my throat cut.
Yeah.
That's back at was that here? We did it at NW.
It was just
played that
over,
recently.
Best of.
Yeah.
We just played it last week. I think.
Amazing.
When who came in? Patrice, fucking Voss.
Yeah, they were all. It was like they brought in the Magnificent Seven of Ballbusters, and then found the most embarrassing thing. Like it was the perfect storm of ball busting.
That's exactly.
We've done a few of those over the years. They're very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We've played some of our old radio shows from the beginning, and
You don't get through
Jimmy's whole
like
stand up.
4 words before somebody just jumps in and starts
Whoa,
pounding
what?
you. Yeah,
So
horrible.
It's humiliating.
Jimmy's
it
voice.
is.
Mine
forgot.
was terrible.
Yeah, people.
Oh, like me.
What were you? They weren't. What were you dressed in? Like, how were you dressed? What were you wearing?
It should have been a fucking suit with my hands over my chest and a satin pillow. I was wearing fucking baggy purple, like fucking workout pants.
No!
Dude, I was a cunt, and a fucking a black like mock turtleneck. I was just a zilch. An absolute zero.
At the time, you thought you looked good, though.
Oh my god, I sure did. High energy, smiling. They're enjoying me.
Always greet him with a smile and be totally inclusive.
I listened to
no
that.
one left out.
That like me shit. That you got to be likable. You got to be likable. And when you first start, you hear that, and you want the industry to like. It's all this nonsense you buy into that. Thank God some of us get out of. And
Well, how much nonsense? Remember when you would buy into the idea that if you fuck up at this club or anger this club, in your mind, it's a network.
Right,
and they
right.
all talk to each other, and you'll be banned from all.
Right.
Like suddenly you have a cabaret card. It's 1961. And you're gonna be banned, and then you realize later, it would have actually helped my career if certain club owners had hated me immediately.
Yeah.
Because the word would have gotten out that this guy's actually good. If this asshole doesn't like
if he
him.
hates him or fuck him.
There's no loyalty. You could burn down the Cleveland Improv and they'd still hire you in Baltimore.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. They really don't. So yeah, there was always that. So frustrating.
How do you know, like, when you're starting out like that, what to even wear? Like, I'm wearing these purple things. Like, was it calculated? Did you go into that closet and be like, tonight I'm on stage, let me get that? Or did you just throw on
Club
what was
owner
clean?
gave me them. This guy, Mark Vito, who runs Club Casbah, and Wildwood gave me a couple of baggy pants. I just thought they were kind of cool, and I would tuck my shirt in.
Here's the one I wore during my fight with you, Rock. Red and blue shorts.
Exactly.
I would always try to I would always try to dress like in the subtle comedian uniform.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe like the suit jacket, but then the jeans, and then the bright sneakers. Like, come on, he's a little. You don't know what's gonna come out of this guy. He's dressed for fun, and then the t-shirt under the suit jacket with a weird ironic logo on it. Look, it's the Mr. Bubble logo. I'm nuts. We don't know what I'm gonna do. I mean, if I'm willing to put this on, what's gonna happen? Oh, Jesus, it's so pathetic, so needy. There's nothing. That's what's hard about watching you when you're yourself when you're young. It's not that you're not funny; it's that you're needy. You're so needy.
It was both.
Yeah.
I was not funny and I was needy.
That's that when we were going through old radio stuff. I was
so happy to be there.
Months out of doing construction, so I was just so happy.
But you get a pass.
I'm like, oh my god, so everything was so like, oh yeah, over the top, fun. I was just so eager to like anything. I'd throw in an imitation. I must perform
Because the attic was waiting for you.
Yes, that attic was.
So you kind of have a pass. You came out of this kid. Anthony came out of. He came out of nowhere, though.
But it is,
I started,
Right, and that's where he's going.
I started this shit when I was 18. He's in his 30s, comes out of nowhere, and fucking boom.
But you know what his advantage was, and yours too, is because you started young and you started with the past you had. You had this cliff of darkness behind you. There's nothing to fall back on. So you've got to work twice. It makes you work twice as hard when you have got nothing else.
We both had nothing.
Like I had when I started
out.
doing stand up, I kind of blew everything else.
Right.
And I realized I can't work in every office I worked in. Either people hated me or I hated it, and I had a terrible attitude. So I'm just like, I have a cliff to my back.
Yeah.
If I fall back, I will fall off the planet
Just
and be gone. So
you're one of those people that, well, they fell through the cracks of society.
I literally, that's
Yeah,
where I
yeah.
would have ended up. I would have been somewhere.
Yeah, all those
Yeah.
guys almost made it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because that's the other side of this. There's guys that almost made it but had the cliff at their back and they fucking fell.
How many
For whatever
comedic
reason.
geniuses do we know? Truly visionary guys that just never. They're just gone, or they're still around. But what do you do?
They made bad decisions, a lot of them, or a lot of people wanted to just work. The big road headliners of like 1992. I started 1990, and a lot of those guys began in the 80s. And they headlined before they were ready because the 80s had a fucking million clubs, so everyone got the headline.
Oh, yeah.
And then they got bottlenecked, squeezed out in the fucking early 90s, and they couldn't find work. And like those guys that would work in like 92, 93, they're gone now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those rooms
It's
aren't around.
amazing.
So also,
Yeah.
they got used to a certain lifestyle of I make this much money, I do this, and the people that survived when the boom stopped, and there were people that did make it, but those are the ones who are like, I got to get some other shitty job and keep doing stand up until it comes around again.
Yeah,
some people
yeah.
did do that, but you're right. There were some people that are like, I used to headline at you used to headline in a club chain that does not exist.
It doesn't even exist
and
anymore.
no one cares.
Yeah, yeah.
And there were also those guys that they wrote their 45 minutes and then they just I'm done writing.
Yep,
exactly. I got my 45.
There's my life.
Yeah.
My life's comedy.
I don't understand those guys.
Why would I go on stage for no money?
You see, some of those guys come through, once a year, and you go see them. You're like, what are you doing?
It's the same thing.
Same exact thing.
Isn't it fun? I thought it was fun writing jokes. That was the whole point of doing this. You have to do the same shit over and over again.
New stuff.
Yeah.
Those guys I'm merciless with those guys. They're fucking lazy.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you're fucking lazy.
Yeah.
Fucking write a joke or try a joke.
There was
Same fucking dog shit inflection for 10 years. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you.
I on HBO, I think it's HBO Classic Comedy, whatever the fuck it is. They play a lot of the old specials from the 80s and stuff. And you see these guys and you're like, oh yeah, that guy. And he had like a little fame back then. And you realize you never saw this guy after like the boom of stand-up comedy. They're gone.
Are they? I was going to ask, are they still doing comedy, but in some weird
Who the
fucking
fuck even knows? They
places,
just
or
disappear.
I don't even know.
Some of them just disappear, man.
A lot of the guys that I started with in DC, these headliners ended up on morning radio doing AM.
Oh, really?
Not like satellite stuff, but I mean like AM local and angry, like beyond conservative. And like there was I remember a guy that I used to work with, and we weren't really friends, work with him, and he was going off about, I used to be a comedian and black people in clubs. Let me tell you something, because I've actually experienced it. I'm like,
was it Kramer?
It was, but it was like, I see what you're saying, but you're basing a political philosophy on 3 bad nights that you had at Garvin's, which, by the way, were bad nights. But you need to that was his argument with the call. Yeah. Oh, God. You ever do Garvin's?
No, but I remember the name from DC.
Garvin's was their big claim to fame. They're gone. Is that they had Dave Chappelle starting out. He got his start there, and they treated him like such absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
That he left for New York. And then I remember another club, not Garvin's, but one a lot like Garvin's. Dave Chappelle was getting ready for his first hour, the Killing Him Softly, and his managers called the club and said, Dave would like to do the weekend. You can have him for $800 for the whole weekend. He just wants to do sets. This is the last minute. All you got to do is give him $800. So, this is Dave Chappelle, right?
Yeah, he probably just wanted some money.
It was already Dave Chappelle.
Food or pay for his room.
Exactly.
Right.
And they wouldn't pay him. They wouldn't do it. And then
Wow.
I heard the 2 managers talking, and one of them was like, fucking kid used to MC here for $25 a set 5 years ago, and suddenly we got to give him $800. It's like, well, because he's not the kid like in their mind, you're just frozen there, and that's
you're still the
where
same
you
piece.
are.
How great is it they're gone? How great is it?
The whole thing just collapsed.
That's great.
Yeah.
It is nice when
Dummies.
you get a club from a scumbag club, a club owner running it, and then it just goes belly up. Good. That fuck.
Yeah. It's just the.
It happened with bands too. When we used to play, and at the end of the night, you go to get paid, and there's always a problem. We had the door count, and it was this. It's like we had our own guy with it. I gotta go with my guy. And you're like, you're going to screw me on 25 people? You prick.
Like you do realize this can't sustain. Like eventually, your club is just going to collapse.
Right.
There's no way if you keep pissing the talent off, no one will come
fucking
back
everyone
here.
over.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fast.
And they all try to. They
Yes,
all try
yes.
to fuck you for 8 seats or 10 seats. Or now we're doing a golden ticket thing, but you weren't supposed to because we have a contracted ticket price. They all try to get an extra few dollars.
See, that's what. Again, if they were trying to fuck me over for 20 grand, I would at least respect that I'm dealing with a supervillain. But when you're dealing with someone, and they're like, I just talked to you for 20 minutes because you were trying to get like $48 out of me. That's what drives me crazy.
Yeah. Just,
that much.
And it's weird when you have these like old clubs that like for years you worked in, and then you realize that it's 2013, and you're going back October 11 and 12 to the Comedy Cabaret at Poco's Restaurant in Doylestown.
Oh, Jimmy.
Tickets are on sale now. I'm working on my new hour, so I'm just going there. Yeah, and tickets are cheaper. We're doing $15 tickets. I wanted to do $10 tickets, but they couldn't do them because they make no liquor money. And it's where I want to go just to work. I'm going to have like maybe some paper with me and just work on material.
That's cool.
Yeah.
No, when I was doing this, I just taped my new special in July, and I did the same thing. I did every Thursday night. I did. There's this little art gallery near me that also does stand up, and I go, let me just have Thursday nights, and I got to go there every night for 3 months, and then I would also go every Monday and Tuesday month. I'd go down to the Irvine Improv, which is in a mall, and you've got to edit your shit. Like you can't just go, let's just see where this goes. Like no, they want to see a show. So all the stuff that I would kind of spew out at the art gallery, I then had to go edit down in Irvine, and it really helped. It was really good. Yeah. That's really smart.
Yeah, I love doing stuff like that. I usually do that right before a special is shot. Like I'll usually go into smaller rooms and just completely. But that's you're seeing the special almost. I probably have since I shot probably 35 new minutes
already.
Yeah, but it's been 5 months. Though. It's been 5 months. 35 new months. 35 minutes. So I would say you'll have close to a new 45, and I'll play with the crowd a little bit. But I love doing that. That's my favorite part of it.
Colin in Long Island City when he was just starting working on the last
Unconstitutional,
Unconstitutional.
No kidding.
And it was great. Just watch him and he'd go through something and be like, well, that don't work. But it was great just watching him throw that shit around and try to.
Then he says the same thing on HBO when he does it. Didn't go over.
God, how fucking funny is he?
It's amazing. It's depressing.
It really is
fantastic.
I could do maybe one joke on the Constitution, and it would wind up being about Ben Franklin's gay socks. And he didn't even write the Constitution, which is a terrible joke.
Speaking of funny, we do have Jake LaMotta coming in today.
Oh, yes.
man.
For real?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's coming in at 9.
If you want to stick around, and he's doing.
If you'll let me. If not, I'll totally leave. But God,
he's doing comedy too. He's 92.
So he's up on the stage where that bull can rage?
Yeah.
Yes.
Although I can fight, I'd much rather hear myself recite. I can't remember. Not pretty.
That was brutal.
Is he really doing comedy though?
Yeah, he did it
at
for
92.
Years.
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
No, I know, but he's 92.
Well,
he comes with his
Rickles
wife.
in his 90s? No, he's 80. But
Rickles also wasn't belted in the head by Sugar Ray Robinson for a total of 106 rounds.
Good point, Jimmy.
Good point. Very good. We'll be right back on Point Counterpoint.
Well, if you're sticking around, why don't we take a break?
Yeah, he'll be in a few minutes.
Pat, stay around. What's the big plug again? It's whatever happened to Moby Dick, right?
That's whatever happened to Moby Dick on the 21st.
Okay.
And then the Heart She Hollered second season on Tuesday the 10th.
I'm going to check out that series. I had never heard of it until today.
You would, if you like fluids, you'll like the Heart She Holler.
And Patton Oswalt on Twitter, he's a really good one to follow.
Yes.
So we'll continue with Patton. Stay there.
Thank you.
The Opie and Anthony Show on Sirius X. The Opie and Anthony Show.
The great Jake LaMotta. Once again, thanks for coming in, man. The legend himself, 91 years old.
That was something.
It was very,
91.
very fascinating.
Wait a minute, he's 91. So wait. So he was around. I think I'm right before MTV. I'm not good with math. I think he might have been around.
Yes,
I think it started later that year.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
His fights, if you look at the dates of his fights and stuff, there's like 20 fights before World War II started, like before America's involvement in World War II.
I didn't know that they would do fights that close together. That's crazy. I'm amazed more guys didn't
20
die.
fights a year in 1 year.
3 weeks apart.
It's just gotta hurt.
Brutal.
Like you'd still hurt. Like I
You'd
don't want to
still
get
be
punched.
ringing. Yeah.
I don't want to get punched in the face because it still hurts from the last punching.
Or were they tougher because they'd been punched so much that they just didn't care? They're like,
it doesn't matter.
I've gotten over the fear of how awful this is, so I can just plow right into guys now.
But to not go down, though, like that's the amazing thing about a guy like that is to literally get punched that hard, that many times, and to not go down.
Yeah.
I mean, what a
and
bull.
his compensation for, well, I never really learned how to do any backup is then I'm going to need to learn to absorb punishment or I don't have a career. That level of decision making is beyond me.
But it's appropriate that he goes into comedy after.
That is, exactly. Yeah.
What better way to?
And there was that moment, and it was kind of funny where you called yourself on it, but there is that thing of comedians wanting to. We are kind of like boxers, and no, you're not.
No.
But you, in your mind, you're like, yeah, the humiliation I go to, but you're not pissing blood after a bad set. You're just kind of going, they did not like me.
Yeah, that was. God, just getting that old is.
But he's no worse than any other 91-year-old, and he was more coherent than a lot of fucking 70-year-olds.
As far as coherent goes and stuff, that's fine. It's
Right.
tells the one joke a few times. Who cares?
Memory's not good.
Five times.
To sit there, like to watch him sitting there, it looks like he's constantly trying to just stay alive.
Yeah,
like it's work to just live. It just looks like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Well, there's also got to be that thing where all great athletes learn to stop listening to your body and have the mind tell the body what it's going to do. Because the body will always tell you, like, hey, we should stop. I'm tired. The mind's like, here's what we're going to do. Yeah. So it's a mind, like his body is constantly going, hey, let's just die now. Like, we're ready. And the mind's like, nope, we got to do a show on the 13th. So we're not going to die yet.
We have things to do.
And she knows we're all looking at her like, are you behind this? Where he's still performing, and she wanted to make it perfectly clear it's him.
Yeah, she jumped out pretty quick and was like,
she's
the funniest thing I saw during that entire interview. She sits down, she goes to cross her legs. I see Jim look right up her fucking skirt. I looked right in your eyes, you fucking, and she was talking to you at the time. You were looking at her
see
eyes,
anything, Jimmy?
And Jimmy just goes
just her
right
legs.
down to fucking.
Oh, I wish Jake had caught that. You looking at my wife?
Yeah.
You looking at my wife?
Did you see a punched out eye?
No.
Oh God.
A little leg.
Yeah.
I saw she had very nice
She was
legs.
sexy for an
Yeah,
older
my
broad.
God, yeah.
How old do you think?
I'm going to guess in her 50s.
No.
Yeah.
It's got to be older than that.
60s,
Really?
Easy.
I would think she's
I'd say
older
late
than that.
50s.
Yeah.
Late 50s?
Late 50s.
What? No.
Yeah.
No.
Hard to say.
I got to go mid 60s.
Saw a little nipple placement when she took her thing off,
Yeah,
and they
no,
weren't
she's-
down as low as I thought they'd be. That wasn't bad. I gotta be honest.
What are you, a weatherman? The nipples are not as low as we thought.
We
It's,
were predicting something a little lower, but
his hands look like they're in the shape of boxing gloves now. For like the thumbs are at this weird lower level. You know what I mean? Like it's the years of they have this weird shape to them now. It's amazing.
I was looking at his hands too, and from the movie where he's like, my hands are too small.
Little girl's hands.
A little guy. He does have little
Very
hands.
small hands.
Yeah.
We've
Never
had
going to fight
boxers.
Joe Louis.
Yeah, we've had boxers in here that you shake hands with them,
Ridiculous.
giant fucking monster hands.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yeah, and his were like they were kind of
Little hands.
We get a lot of boxers on the show.
Yeah, a lot of them.
And Jimmy's an expert at that shit, so.
No, I know. I don't know.
We almost had Sugar Ray Leonard cry on our show. That was amazing.
What?
Yeah, he started getting into some shit
About
that
his
happened
molesting.
to him. some molestation, and he
Did you show him the Dudley episode? Is that...
Yeah, get over it.
It looked like he went a little further with us than he has in the past, and he was really close to
But
breaking
then
down.
one of my coworkers got a little uncomfortable.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Anthony couldn't handle
He
that.
bailed him out. He's oh, no, it's okay. You know, you're here now.
Me and Jimmy are wide-eyed
How's
like...
the career going, Slugger?
Yeah.
We're wide-eyed like, oh my God, Sugar Ray Leonard's going to cry at any moment, and Ant was feeling that and made sure he snapped him out of it.
Pulled the ripcord.
Yes, he didn't want to be here to see Sugar Ray Leonard cry.
I asked him one, too, that I wanted to get him. I used the word betrayed.
Yep.
That was it.
It was close.
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel betrayed.
Then we've had Tyson twice.
Barbara
3
Walters?
times.
Do you feel betrayed?
I
Sugar Ray?
know.
He
Trying to get
did
him
write
to
about
cry.
being molested, so I had to ask.
okay.
Let me know.
Then we had Tyson.
Who's
a bunch. He's unbelievable. Then we had Joe Frazier near the end there.
No kidding.
He was amazing.
Was he coherent?
Joe.
Still fucking taking shots at Ellie. he didn't let it go,
Oh,
man.
he didn't let that grudge go.
I think he was playing his answer machine for us where there's a message that trashes Ali. He just, right to the end,
Yeah,
man.
he's like, you see the way he is? I'm responsible for that. Yeah. Joe was not happy with Ali's taunting and calling him an Uncle
and he
Tom
sang.
joke.
You got Joe
Wow.
Frazier singing for Patton Oswalt?
Isn't that amazing how many boxers Jake has outlived?
Dude.
Just
Everyone.
amazing.
Oh, did I tell you I met Arsenio when I did Leno? He was doing something like shooting something.
Is
for
he
later.
still coherent? Like how coherent is he?
He looked really fucking skinny, but I asked him about the Ali interview, and I talked to him about how I think he got like the real last Ali interview. I mean,
Oh wow, really?
do you remember when Ali was on his show? And he was like, he could hardly talk. And then Mike Tyson was the champ, came on, and Sugar Ray Leonard, and it was a really cool
I don't remember that. That's amazing. I didn't know they were.
Yeah, it was great.
And Ali admitted that he was scared of Tyson. And I said to Arsenio, I think you got the first publicly humble moment out of Tyson. Like, everyone saw him as just this beast. And then, with you, he completely gave way to Ali and completely conceded Ali. And it's like no one had seen Tyson talk like that about anybody. It was really nice.
Yeah.
It was nice.
That's amazing.
We got a clip of Joe Frazier just for Patton Oswalt.
Oh, let's
who
hear it.
decided to hang out with
Joe.
us, and we're very happy about that.
Where's
Here we
Russell
go.
Peters, by the way?
He's not here.
Thank you. I know that.
He was going to try to get up early. I don't know. Maybe wasn't in the cards.
I like that Sam states the obvious. Where's Russell Peters? Well, he's not doing 20 minutes on the console. Thanks, Sam. Fucking narrows it down.
He's not in the building. Here's Joe Frazier.
Here he goes.
Mustang Sally,
I don't know that one either.
That's the old.
think you better slow your Mustang down. That's what I'm trying to tell you now. Mustang Sally now, baby. Oh, yeah. Think you better slow that Mustang down. You've been running all over town. Ow! Guess I have to put your white feet on the ground. All you want to do is ride.
How is
around
boxing
Sally.
legal? How is fucking boxing legal at this point? Can we just say it is one of the most detrimental things that can
Why
be
are we
done to a
stuck
person?
talking old fighters? It's creepy.
Oh my God!
Someone's
They
gotta
just call
say
boxing
it.
almost murder. You gonna go watch the almost murder match tonight?
Yes. We're trying to be cool about this. It's creepy.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a
Oh,
minute. Did we
God.
talk over the boo at the end of the Joe Frazier singing?
Wait, what?
Oh,
Sure
was that
did,
what
Jim.
happened there?
Could you replay the end of that? This is what
no.
happened at the end of this
Oh, no.
legend singing.
Oh God.
Oh no!
All you want to do is ride around Sally. Ride, Sally, ride.
Oh shit, Opie, that was mean.
What? Wait a minute.
I don't have that boo.
I'm still dealing with the cake thing. Leave it
Play
alone
the
for a while.
Homer Simpson booing. Oh, it's so...
Yeah, but it's got to be said. It just creeps us out. Why do we have to interview these guys?
They all just.
I mean,
brain being rattled around and
Rattled
add some
around.
age to it, and
I wonder if it's like if there's an element of like out of shape guys, well, like me. There's an element of pleasure of like, well, no, I don't fight like that, but I'm still coherent. Like I
could fucking
I
put
yeah, I
together
can. So that makes us feel better about our lives.
you
know what?
Maybe, yeah.
it leads to a video I was telling these guys about that we should see for a couple seconds. They went super slow-mo on some UFC highlights.
Oh yeah, I want to see that.
I think if you go to E-Bomb's World, I saw it there. I couldn't sit through the whole video. It was so fucking creepy what what happens to the head when you're taking a fucking punch.
Can I see Sam? I can't see.
Is this
E-Bombs World ran this amazing clip a few days ago of a guy in a poker game, one of those, and he goads the other guy into betting.
Oh, no.
And then he ends up, and he loses like a $900,000 pot. And he could have won if he just shut his mouth and the guy had just folded. And he made it, and then the look on this guy's face, it is like you can watch a soul die.
Wow.
You watch
I love that.
a soul actually die.
Wow. Yeah, just go down. It's on the front page still somewhere. A little further down.
Yeah.
Scrolling.
Sorry. Right there. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
I couldn't sit through this whole fucking thing. I know it's a visual. We'll put it up on our Facebook page.
Probably
Opie.
turn that volume down. That's really annoying.
But those super slow-mo cameras that people are doing a lot of cool things with now.
Oh, ow.
That's
just
nothing.
the way but just
Watch the headshot.
Oh, his whole head like a skull.
Watch.
Oh, wow.
This is what...
His head bent.
The whole skull bends.
Oh, God. It looks like all the skin's going to fly off his skull.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Oh, boy. Yikes.
See, that can't be. Oh! His other ear on the other side of his head moved.
Rattles.
Yeah.
Everything rattles.
Ow.
That one looked like his whole fucking hair was going to come off.
Oh, it looked like his whole... Did you see that?
Caved in.
It looked like his whole face flattened.
Yeah, well, you know.
Wow. Oh.
Good night.
Oh, he went
Bye-bye.
Yeah, we just.
Oh, they missed.
Yeah, they both have arms locked.
Yeah, but even when you see the damage it does to the torso, you see everything gets. Oh dear!
You kicked. There's a.
Oh,
he misses the kick.
Kicked.
Yeah.
There's a fucking spinning back fist to the side of the head.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's.
But to see it in slow mo, it's unbelievable.
God knows what's happening to your brain and to your insides.
Yeah,
like your organs. I wonder if these guys have like problems with like bowel movements and urinating. That's gotta mess you up.
I hope so, because I do, and I've never been punched.
Isn't that unbelievable?
They must have to like suck those morphine lollipops they give those guys just to get through your day.
When you look at the way you think your skull is pretty solid and stuff, but their whole head bends when you get punched in the side of the head.
Gets completely distorted for a split second.
Whoa, that's
going. Wow, that's a hell of a move right there.
Yeah.
That was from recently, I think.
That was ridiculous.
That was the Benson Henderson fight. We just lost that.
But anyway, that'll be up on our Facebook page. That was tough to watch.
It's the same with football. I was reading. I always get the Best American Sports Writing compilation every year. So there was this article in one a few years ago about this old football player who is in so much chronic pain that he has to. He uses a taser at night. He has to tase himself to sleep. He's in that much pain, so he tases himself until he's totally numb, and then he can fall asleep.
Is it a guy we know from the past?
It's this guy. It was an article in one of the Best American Sports Writing, like 2009. And it was so brutal with this. Like, I mean, you think about like they're improving the helmets now, so that. But think of the guys that are still alive from the 70s or 80s and what they did to themselves.
I don't know what they're going to do with football. I think football's in trouble. These guys are getting too quick, too fucking strong.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to keep that sport going.
I think there's got to be a point of no return with steroids where you build your muscles to the point where your skeleton can't support what you're doing. Like, forget even you hitting somebody. You are lifting weights and running in ways that your skeleton can't. It's not meant to do that.
You need some kind of skeleton steroids.
It's like you're tearing yourself apart.
Yeah.
Maybe if they could add adamantium to their bones, like in the Wolverine comics, that would be an interesting thing. They could add all of that. That would actually improve football, I think.
That would be great.
Wonderful.
Let's debate the pros and cons of that at our next seminar.
Yeah. Next TED Talk. There's your next TED Talk.
That's your TED Talk, yeah.
X-Big technology to use for improving American team sports.
Is this the
the saddest face in poker?
Why? Oh, God, look at this.
All right, so what do we do?
Go back to the beginning. Here, let me show you what's happening in this thing. He has, So this
let's see what the guy's
has ace 10, the other guy has ace queen. The flop, there's a 10. So he's got 2 pair. All he's got to do is shut up and let the guy fold.
Ace 10. He's got a 93% chance of winning.
All he's got to do is just be quiet.
2 poker pros here. Gil dropped out of Cal State Chico.
Watch this.
Berettas graduated from Harvard. Gil born in Madras, Oregon. I can't even find that out.
So Gil is...
All right.
The guy could just drop out.
Right.
But he said I have ace queen?
He's got ace queen.
Ace
and there's
10.
only one card left.
Ace 10 went all in.
Look at that.
He's turning a fucking queen on the river. Oh, my God. He's going to turn a queen on the river. Oh, he's going to fuck this guy.
$987,000 pot.
Oh, there it is. Oh, my God. Oh, look at his face. He's done. He knows
his soul is dead. He just died. He's done.
He just goes, wow.
Oh, wow.
And goodbye. Thank you. Goodbye.
He's out.
You did a good job, man. You did
did a good job, man.
Bye. Goodbye. I'm never recovering from that.
He's lost.
Basically $1 million because I didn't shut up.
Until 2017.
Wait, so how did he talk his way out of that guy folding?
Because he kept going because the guy's thinking maybe I should fold. He goes, oh, really? Because, you got, who knows? Could be enough there. And he just wanted him to bet against he could get even more money.
Yes, he wanted more money. He got greedy.
Yeah,
and was like,
he got greedy.
Hey, you could get it.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, all right.
And then he was so excited to then turn his cards and go, oh, 2 pair. Oh my gosh, I guess you got to get a queen.
You got to get a queen.
And then the guy gets it.
Oh my God!
It's the only card that he had to win with was a queen.
It's just in his face, like
the way his face looks like. No, that didn't just happen.
Yeah,
that did not just come out.
It's you literally watch a guy who has life in his eyes, and then the light gone. His eyes just
like
dead.
The Terminator.
Exactly. I know why you cry, but it is something I could never do.
Yes. No, that sounds more like Anthony.
Yeah. Oh well.
I remember I was in college and I took some class about death and dying in philosophy or something, and it was a 1 o'clock class in the afternoon, and for some reason me and my friends drank that morning, like starting at 10 a.m. So I showed up to class drunk, and we were talking about Socrates, and the professor was going, now, what Socrates do? Was it a suicide? And I had seen Terminator 2 the night before.
Oh, no.
So then I'm kind of buzzed, and I was like, hey, I saw in Terminator 2, speaking of Socrates, so at the end he says, I can't self-terminate, but then he lets the kid lower him into the steel, the molten steel.
No.
So if he passively accepts his death, technically isn't that self-termination? And so the professor starts going, well, and then one of the other kids in the class said, we are not talking about Terminator 2. And I went, no, but because he says, and then this kid goes, we are not talking about Terminator, you fucking drunk. So that's my best memory of college, is I was trying to fold Terminator 2 into this death and dying.
Were you a Pink
class.
Floyd guy, Patton?
Yeah, when I was younger.
All right, good.
Classic. Dark Side of the Moon is...
Yeah, well, E-Rock hates Pink
E-Rock
Floyd.
doesn't really like it.
And he doesn't hate much on this show. It's really hard to get an opinion from the guy. And
it really is.
He was all in on the Pink Floyd today for some reason.
What?
Yeah, he was a little pissed
E-Rock,
off at
would you want
Pink
to...
Floyd. He just doesn't like it.
Let's hear it.
See, you can't even get an opinion out of him now.
I know, now he's going to back off.
What, is you shutting down? What's wrong?
That's what he does.
He hates Pink Floyd.
Why?
Because in school, his roommates were like all fucking Pink Floyd and smoking weed, and he'd come home and be like, "Oh, here we go again."
He would hear, "Is there anybody in there?"
He said he would get home and they would play what he referred to as the cash register song.
Yeah, he calls it the cash register song. Classic.
That's like the way my grandmother would talk about Pink Floyd. That they've got that wonderful cash register song where it's clever because you know, a lot of things in life can make music, and you can take a toaster and maybe there's a song in a toaster in there. Well, they're British, so they can figure that out. Of course, they can do that.
Cash register song.
Yeah.
E-Rock. Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah, well,
I'm not a huge fan. It's moody music, you know.
Yeah, but there's something about that album, Dark Side of the Moon. They just don't like they
amazing.
caught a specific
Yeah.
feeling at a certain time when it just feels like they recorded a time when the country was just sick and angry and everyone was in an awful mood, and they just captured that forever.
It really is kind of a time capsule thing, that album. Yeah.
Like, we're in a bad mood right now.
You look at albums like that, and then you just look at some cheesy pop album and realize, wow, technically they're the same thing,
right?
But one has so much behind it and means so much, and the other thing is just fucking nothingness.
And they end up selling more.
Yeah.
Well, it's also
In a lot of
amazing
cases.
that if you hear those voices in the background, those where they would write all these questions on cards, like what does death mean, or like all these really heavy questions, and then they brought people in. And they were going to hide them in the mix, like they're answering these weird questions. So they brought in Paul and Linda McCartney, and that's Paul going, I can't think of anything to say. He just couldn't think of anything.
Really?
And then all the heavy shit came from the guy who was the janitor at the studio. He's the guy who says,
wow, I didn't know this.
Yeah. So if you listen to the end of Dark Side of the Moon, he goes, there's no dark side of the moon, really. Matter of fact, it's all dark. That's the janitor is doing all this.
The
heavy duty.
And then Paul's just, I don't know what to say.
I'm not afraid of dying. I mean, you got to go sometime. Just all these really, and they ended up using his voice throughout the whole album.
What an interesting thing to do.
He was just a dude at the studio.
Yeah,
wow.
and saying all this. And he's the one kind of doing some really evil shit about, you give him this short, sharp shock. They don't do it again. Dig it? He's just talking about basically torturing people. All this shit.
So none of that was written for him?
No,
you know?
I mean, it was cards. They would they would ask me questions, let them go off, and he would just. They realized they just had this crazy old British dude that would just say all this deep shit.
God, I learned something today. I didn't
So
know
he's immortal. Whenever they do that stuff in concert, they play the clip of him going, "There's no dark side of the moon. It's all dark." Whoa, okay.
They probably structure that whole album around this fucking curmudgeon. He probably said
it's
something.
supposed to be a fun pop album.
They'd probably get in every morning and go, "Hey, good morning." Well, it is if you don't have cancer. And we should use him for something.
Yeah, and you know that he was at the pub that night after work going, these fucking hippies come in. All I want to do is empty the bins, and they got me. I've got to answer these fucking questions, and I don't know. I'm gonna fucking quit. Oh, they got to give me more money if I'm gonna talk to these fucking wankers.
I bet you he didn't even get money for that. They wanted me to sign papers. I said, "Get me a fucking pint, you wankers, and I'll do it for that."
Yeah.
You think you made a horrible deal?
Yeah, got cut of this fucking stupid album that no one's going to listen to. Fuck that.
He's legendary. He didn't get anything out of it in the end. Oh,
well, that was the classic James Earl Jones when he went and did Star Wars, and he did all the Darth Vader voice in a day, because he was the voiceover guy, and Lucas or the studio said, we can give you $9,000, which was unheard of for voiceover in the 70s, or you can have half a point of this movie. And he went, you can give me the $9,000, asshole. I was like, I know what you're trying to do.
Half a point probably would have been, he would have wound up with fucking 30 or 40 grand if he had just done that.
Well, could have been. If he's lucky, sure.
Wow, Jim, you're really not good with numbers, are you?
You think he regrets that?
Oh, I heard an interview where he goes, if I had said yes, you'd be talking to me on the James Earl Jones Network right now.
wow.
Well, but how about the second one, though? Oh, he probably just got a salary for it.
No, I think actually, to Lucas's credit, he gave them all some little bonus, when they came back to the second one. So they're all doing okay. But always remember that Lucas waived his director's fee and said, just give me all the merchandising. That's what I want. And Warner Bros. Yeah, enjoy it, asshole. That's
why he's going to want to buy these little fucking action figures.
That's why he's worth $5 billion.
Yeah.
Wow. So...
Oh, man.
Because back then, merchandising didn't make money. It was just for suckers.
It's like David Cho for Facebook. They couldn't really afford him, so he said, all right, and he got a piece of Facebook. It was over $200 million.
Yeah,
that sounds like the deal I made here.
Oh, yeah.
I said, I'd like this amount. And they said, we're going to give you this. And I went, all right. And I took it. And I sucked all their cocks.
And Cho is spending that money in the coolest, he's doing the craziest shit with his money.
Yeah.
That's the way he is the example of when you make a crazy amount of money, the exact way to spend it. Just doing insane stunts, crazy shit. It's amazing.
Yeah, what's he doing? What?
He's away now, but he's back. I like him.
Bizarre,
We gotta get him on the
weird
show.
shit. He's just, I mean, get him on the show and look, ask him like what he does like in a week. Trust me, it'll be something insane. And he's spending his money and doing just because he wants to have. He's using his money for experiences rather than for objects,
Things, right?
And things. I just want to. I'm going to spend it on having experiences.
And he's a good artist too, man. He's a really good
he's
artist.
brilliant.
I mean, he's
Great
just
artist.
amazing at what he does.
Amazing
so
shit.
it's not like he contributes nothing. I mean, the guy is fucking great.
And he literally, there's a really cool documentary about him where he did start as a tagger, and I mean like tagging. He would see a building, he would do this whale everywhere because he would go. I would look at these ugly industrial buildings. I'm like, I'm going to do a pretty whale in it, and he found a way he could do it, like as he was walking, so he wouldn't get caught. Like he was one of the early guys that invented okay, here's how you can tag like in broad daylight. No one realizes you're doing it till it's too late. And then that led to becoming this huge artist.
Fucking
I'm gonna watch that
200 million.
documentary.
Yeah,
200
check it
million.
out.
200 million for like it was painting the walls or something, some kind of little mural thing.
It's
right?
a deal that they probably wish they hadn't made.
Right, I bet. Look
We
at
could
that
have
side
hung
of it.
pictures.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, look at that side of it.
Get some
Could've
Ansel Adams.
A Beverly Hills Cop 3 poster, framed it, put it up.
Exactly. I would have drawn something.
We talked to somebody else on the show that turned down points on a
Crazy
movie,
deal. Yeah.
and took
a lump sum.
lump sum.
Oy.
What the fuck was it? It was recently. Well, within
Always
the past
take
year.
points, even if it
Right?
flops initially. You never know. I mean, think of people that probably got laughed at for taking points on something like Office Space or Donnie Darko or The
Right.
Big Lebowski,
Right.
And then 10 years down the road, I mean, the guy Lou. One of the reasons Lou Adler is a billionaire and has courtside seats with Jack Nicholson at the Lakers is because he held on to his points for the Rocky Horror Picture Show,
Jesus.
and then just waited and now
knew?
it's
Yeah.
Ka-ching for doing nothing.
No shit.
I pitched on. I was one of the people that pitched a Rocky. He wanted to do a sequel to Rocky Horror Picture, so they brought me in to pitch my idea for the movie. And I went to his house in Malibu. It is up on this cliffside. It is the most gorgeous house I've ever seen. And that grandfather clock with the skeleton inside of it from Rocky Horror Picture is right by the front door.
Wow, cool.
That you walk by it and then you go sit and he just lives in this palace. And I talked to him for half an hour. Like, here's what I would do with the movie. And he's like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. But it's nice to meet you. Like, he was perfectly nice, but.
Nah.
You know, the studio wanted to try to do a sequel, and he's all right. I'll listen to people, and he just sat there having his bagel and enjoying himself. He's just a happy old rich hippie.
By the way, the guy was Donald Sutherland, and it was Animal House.
Oh, right.
Oh,
yeah,
That's
Donald
right.
Sutherland took a paycheck instead of
really
a piece of Animal
and
House.
he showed his ass in that
Yes,
movie and
he
didn't.
absolutely
Oh,
did. And,
his old Donald Sutherland ass.
Yeah, that was a funny scene. Oh, here it is.
And he got paid nothing. I forgot what
Yeah,
he told
it was-
us at the time.
it was nothing.
It was
Well,
nothing.
you know, the guy that plays Hoover in that is Jamie Widows is a huge TV director now. He does
Is he
2.5
really?
yeah. And he's like, and I work with. He did King of Queens a lot. And
Oh,
he's
wow.
like one of the nicest. God, he is just so ridiculously nice and has amazing Animal House stories about getting to work on that film and how they would
Yeah.
divide up all the actors into the Omegas and the Deltas, you know, and then they kind of started taking on.
Oh shit!
Like they started to sort of hate each other and they wouldn't like hang out with each other and they would kind of fight. And he goes, there was a guy on the set and his only job was when they called the end of shooting every day was to hustle Belushi into a car and get him up to this house he was staying in because they didn't want him to stay on the set and party with people because he would drink everyone into the earth, basically. So they had to get him out of there as quick as they could.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was the guy's job is to get Belushi in the car and drive him away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to leave you guys.
Oh,
you guys
Jimmy.
keep chatting. I have to go. I have to go to the airport before noon.
No, I got to get.
Where are you
myself.
flying to today?
Chicago. Doing a grand opening of a strip club.
No kidding.
Wow.
Yeah, good money.
How long are you in Chicago for?
Tomorrow morning. I come home at 5
Oh.
Why?
There's a restaurant, if you ever go to Chicago, if you have time, go to a restaurant called Schwa. It is this guy is the best chef in the city. And even all the top chefs in Chicago, like, this is the best guy. He cranks death metal and gangster rap. There's no menu. You just go in there. It's this beautiful 22-seat white linen French restaurant where they are cranking metal. And he looks like Rasputin, and it's whatever he's bought that day, he cooks it and brings out the most insane shit. Schwa.
I ate at Fung. I wasn't impressed. Let me give out this number, 215-345-JOKE if you want to come October 11 and 12. I'm working on material at the Comedy Cabaret in Doylestown. It's an amazing small room in outside of Philly. It's fucking great. It's like a fucking 25, 30-year-old comedy club.
Oh, that's and like small, like so like not a lot of seats.
150 seats maybe, like one of those places to work on material.
Yeah, it's a workout room.
The best.
You know what it's like, Jim? It's like you and I in the gym. It's the same thing that Jake did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like we're in the gym, right?
Yeah, it's almost
like sparring with the crowd.
Exactly, right?
It's almost like Sugar Ray peppering my fucking face and head for 45 minutes for $50.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Same thing. And a watch.
And a watch, apparently.
And a watch.
A lot of watches.
And Patton, where are you going to be
Bye,
again,
guys.
there, brother?
Patton, good seeing you, buddy.
Good to see you too,
All
man.
right, Jimmy, have fun in Chicago.
I'm on Fallon tonight. I'm
nice.
on
A little show called Jimmy Fallon.
little joke called Late Night with Jimmy Fallon.
Yes,
Very
he's
nice.
doing very well.
Yeah.
We're happy for him.
And then
Jimmy.
next Tuesday is Heart She Hollers season 2. Which I can't believe you guys haven't seen it. It is so up your alley.
It sounds great.
You can watch it fucking today.
Jesus Christ. Very
And,
cool. Penn, thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Always.
Seriously.
Come in more often.
No, I will. When I come back, I
It
just
doesn't have to be for a
forget.
project. Just come in and hang. We love this.
Really, I can just come in.
Definitely.
I didn't want to bum rush the show. I can
No, never. We've always
Especially
had piss when you come on.
funny
Man.
people. Just come and hang.
I want to come in when Voss is on.
Oh, who doesn't?
And just, I'm serious, I do.
All right, we'll make that happen.
Okay, good.
We'll make that happen.
And here's the thing.
And happy birthday to young Sam Roberts, who's
Sam.
officially not young anymore.
30, yes.
The big 3-0 today.
Oh, you're getting up there, dude.
We remember.
How many times did you fight Sugar Ray?
So many times.
Yeah. That you,
I wasn't going to
lost the
joke
thread
again. No. Good.
I fought Sugar Ray.
Oh, dude.
diabetes.
Every time he would start that, I would look over at you guys.
I know.
And just those frozen smiles. Okay.
See a frozen smile.
Yeah,
Just
and God bless Jim just going, because the sugar, right? Discovering it anew every time.
Jimmy gets a little nervous. He gets nervous sometimes because he knows that there's a possibility we're going to blow it up.
Thank God for Jimmy
So
today.
he jumps in and makes sure we don't.
Thank God for him
Sometimes,
today.
sweetie.
Oh, it's Lil Riley.
Yeah.
I guess Lisa's here.
All right, y'all. Happy birthday, Sam.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend. Patton, thank you. We'll see you
Bye,
next
guys.
time. And
Yes.
blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Watch out now. The Opie and Anthony Show continues. Sort of. After O&A Live with Sam Roberts is next.